Hello again. Today we're going to be doing something a little different from the old tattoo vlog. I asked you some assumptions to make about tattoo artists. It could be genuine questions or it could be spicy, be a little mean. So now I will be reading over some that I have chosen and answering them for you. Little disclaimer before we start is that I am answering only based off of what I know as a tattoo artist over the past 6 years and through other tattoo artists that I know as well. So we are going to not solely base this on all tattoo artists, just my knowledge, but I will try to cover as much as I can and maybe even explain some experiences I've had with other artists or what I've heard. I will never use names, but I'll share some stories. One of the assumptions asked a lot was that we are way cooler, and I'm curious about that. Do people actually think tattoo artists are cooler than anyone else? Is it because we went off the beaten path of not a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job? I wouldn't say I am not very cool. I don't live this like tattoo party rock lifestyle. I go home and I'm tired and want to play video games. This one was asked a lot too, that we always have back pain or that our back hurts or our neck and shoulders. I have back pain and have actually been not doing certain placements of tattoos because of the said pain, since it irritates it. It's in my lower back. But yeah, I'd say a lot of us do suffer from pain and probably aren't as good as we should be about yoga, going for massages. We try. I try. I go to physio and I get the little needles into the muscle. It freaking hurts. We have a lovely RMT come into the studio and he also beats us up. It kind of hurts too. So I practice self-care because I am too young, having a crunched up back. We're gonna avoid that for as long as we can. So other tattoo artists, I recommend taking care of yourself too. And even if you're not a tattoo artist, just love your body. Give it some TLC. You judge people's tattoos that you see in passing. No. I think for myself, my brain's usually kind of turned off from tattoos when I'm not tattooing, that I don't really feel like judging other people's tattoos. Maybe it's also because I'd hate for people to judge mine, so I don't want to judge others. But I'm sure there's artists out there who sit there and see someone passing and just stare and be like, they could do better. This one's kind of connected to people thinking we're cool. Assumption is they were weird kids and grew up to be weird adults, but people assume they're cool. Exactly. For myself, I was the big anime art nerd, and I hid it because it was not cool yet to like anime, if that doesn't age me. And yeah, I just always felt like the weirdo. And I think that's a lot of tattoo artists now, where the art nerds are kind of coming into this field rather than the biker bad boy club. So yeah, I would say this assumption is correct. You like snacks. I love snacks. If I could just have Hello! If I could just have snacks instead of like actual meals, I would. And sometimes I do. I feel like something with tattooing, there's not much time for eating. Usually tattoos are kind of back to back, including teardowns and setups. So we do tend to just snack a lot in between tattoos. Like myself, who works typically later than usual. By the time I'm home, I do not want to cook, so it's kind of just like, this looks good, and so does this, and I'm gonna eat that for dinner. Hate talking to clients during a session, but feel you have to. No. I feel for myself, I'm pretty good at more so reading my clients. And I actually have this in my application form of how you'd like your appointment to go, because I know people can be socially anxious. So I kind of give the option to them before they come in if they'd like their appointment to be social, minimal social interaction, or none at all. I can very much easily work both ways. I love to talk and learn about people, or I can easily just focus on what I'm tattooing. Sometimes when it's a bigger appointment, I do kind of find that I'll be more talkative in the beginning along with my client, but by the midpoint, we're both kind of just like want to like take a break from each other. So that being said, I'm very comfortable with talking or not talking and leaving that up to my client to decide. I do know some tattoo artists won't talk to you at all or even put earbuds in, which personally I think is kind of rude, and you should always make sure your client is okay with that. Because some people might be nervous and need the distraction, and if you just tune them out, you just choose to tune them out, you may also miss cues of them needing breaks or not feeling well. And some people, kitties, and some people might actually like the distraction of talking. I know for some artists it could be their own social anxiety, but I do think it's a customer service job where there needs to be some understanding that people are going to need to talk to you. And I find communication is very important, and it's a big part of our job. So if an artist ever seems a little too quiet, or maybe it's their ego thinking they're better than you in some way and that's why they're not talking to you, like I said, it's a customer service. So it is about you, it's not about us. This one kind of goes with the last thing. Tattoo artists don't listen to when clients complain about pain. This assumption can be kind of correct. I think there is a point if like you're just going to complain from the get-go. There is a point where it becomes too much and we can't even focus on our jobs. If you know you have a low pain tolerance, then maybe tattoos aren't for you. People who don't sit well while complaining could result in a poorly executed tattoo because we can only control so much of your movement. And it seems people who can be overly vocal also want to move around a lot. Because it is also draining on the artist to have to be all the time like, it's okay, you got this. We can only be your cheerleader and also do our job as well as you can do being the client. Does that make sense? I hope it does. You are also a therapist. Yes, I keep getting tagged in this meme right now. I'll try and like post it in here. Many times people sometimes just trauma dump onto you, which can be very jarring or triggering for the tattoo artist if they've experienced something similar. I would just always kind of check your boundaries and your tattoo artist before going into that. Kind of see where the conversation's flowing naturally and try not to just dump it on. Kind of see how it's going, because I've definitely had clients that have dumped something onto me that feels a lot because I'm feeling it so personally, and it's sent me into my own panic attack, but I'm still doing a job. And I do understand there becomes a moment of vulnerability while getting tattooed that I think our brain kind of unlocks this comfort feeling, and so we feel connected to this tattoo artist and want to just spew words. So I would just always kind of check everyone's boundaries and if they're comfortable with it. So I would say yes, a lot of times tattoo artists are therapists. This one would be correct. They ignore your emails. This assumption can be correct. I've heard of lots of people who've messaged tattoo artists and never heard back. Could be many things. They are overloaded, they have fallen behind on emails, or they just don't want to do that tattoo. And I will say, when you have a lot of emails coming in, it can be hard to get back to everybody. And so that's why some just tend to go ignored if the artist is not interested. It'd be just a lot of back and forth. And it's also hard to say no, because that gives the option for someone to be like, well, why not? Being on the other side, that's mentally exhausting, and we don't really need to explain ourselves. I mean, if I can give an example, it could be just we don't feel comfortable doing that design. It might not be in our wheelhouse. And, we're also not here to guide your hand in finding the right artist. When social media is such a big thing now, you can do your research very easily. And I recommend everyone do their research before choosing an artist and seeing what their art style is like. If you feel like you're being ignored, it never hurts to send a follow-up. If you still don't hear back, I would suggest maybe looking elsewhere. This might not be the artist for you. I think another thing is we'd rather just focus on the art than the receptionist part of this job. It can be a lot. There's some here about judging what the client gets, so I'll just read one of them. They will judge me for not having many tattoos and not tell me if my idea sucks. This assumption could be accurate depending on the artist you go to. I know some artists are just like, yeah, whatever, I just need to pay rent this month. I'll do some tattoo I give no two toots about. So I'd say you're like half correct. As for myself, that would haunt me at night. So I need to say my opinion if I am going to tattoo someone and I've taken them on in my booking round. If they start like changing up their idea, or it's something I don't think will translate well to a tattoo, I will usually let them know kindly or suggest something else. I will never full out say this idea sucks. And most of the time I don't ever think ideas suck. I think they just need to be worked on a bit more. I I feel like I'm speaking as a very a different type of artist though, because I know there's some shitty people out there. Let's just, call a spade. But I do think, like I've said before, this job requires strong communication. And I think that's why we are here as artists, is to help you have the best tattoo idea. And even if you aren't going with what we're saying, then that's totally fine. Maybe there will be someone else out there who will just do it for what exactly you want. A very recent story is Jess just opened her books and she was saying that there was a girl in there who wanted a tramp stamp with some words. The tramp stamp is the lower back for all you youngins who don't know what a tramp stamp was from the 90s, but I think it's coming back in style. She was kind of unsure, and Molly and I were like, oh my god, do the tramp stamp tattoo. And I just think things like that, even if they're silly, they can be fun. I never think a tattoo sucks. So if an artist ever says your idea sucks, just tell them they suck and to suck an egg and go elsewhere. They all have juicy booties. I don't know if we all have juicy booties. I don't think I spend enough time looking at other tattoo artists' booties, but maybe I should. You secretly get sick of tattooing generic designs but won't say anything. For myself, this assumption is wrong. I am very vocal about when I am tired of a design. I even put limits onto how many haku from Spirited Away tattoos I do, because the burnout in drawing haku is real. Because I want to eventually do it again, so I find if I put limits on the things that I tattoo, I can still continue enjoying it. Especially when you find your niche, and it's hard to get out of that niche. Sometimes I find myself there and it can be a little frustrating, but then I just draw a new flash and kind of push that, or only post certain things that I want to keep doing. People become tattoo artists to doodle on booba. Period. You always get tattoos for free. No. Tattoo artists are willing to either just pay for their tattoos as well, or sometimes it just happens that you do trades with other artists. But I want to pay for their service, if I can. Is it true all you eat is bread and the souls of children? This is half accurate. I would never eat a child's soul because it probably tastes yucky. But I love bread. Bread. You all love digging deep on rude clients. No. As much as rude clients can suck, I would never want to jeopardize their tattoo. I wish I was petty, but I also really want the tattoo to look good still. So I probably just won't book them again, but I won't do anything to their tattoo. Because maybe it's also a really awesome idea and I want to post it. They can't draw. Got 'em. You know what? This can be accurate. I like to say there is a difference between, let's do some fun editing magic here. Tattoo artists and tattooists. So the difference between the two is tattoo artists usually have a style and can draw everything on their own. Sure, sometimes they might use some references or inspiration, but they might put it into their own style. And you can usually see that in their art. Tattooists are kind of those people who will do your Pinterest tattoos, as we call them in the industry. And not anything wrong, you can find a lot of great stuff on Pinterest, but it's usually meaning they will just copy straight from it. They have no qualms about taking other people's art and just tracing over it and slapping it on someone's body. And the client's happy, the tattooist is happy, but it wouldn't be someone you're going to for a specific art style. So I think this is half accurate. Never share their food. No, we're gremlins. We're little art gremlins. 2 left. They are very good at masking their emotions. Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I can say this is fully accurate, but I think tattoo artists are. I feel because of our job, we kind of have to be. I feel it kind of comes in hand with the person being socially awkward or nervous, or their anxiety's going. Just a lot of what they're feeling in that moment of emotion means we kind of have to put ours to the side and be present in our clients and just make them feel comfortable. Hopefully. Again, some artists are really shitty at that too. So I do think we're pretty good at masking our emotions. I think we kind of know when to not have them in our job. Yeah, I'm gonna say this one's pretty accurate. You don't post pics of tattoos because you're actually You actually hate the ones you do. Haha. This could be half accurate. Speaking as myself, I mostly get to do tattoos that I love. I don't really hate anything I do. Sometimes I hate the pictures that I take, that's for sure. I feel for the most part I will not post a tattoo if I don't think I got like the perfect picture. Because if there's a glare, if it's slightly off, if the person's body's contorted weirdly and the design looks misplaced, it looks shiny, or I missed a speck of blood. There's so many things that make me be like, this picture's shit. I can't post it. It's not doing the tattoo justice. I don't really post if I don't think the picture is good enough. It's not the tattoo itself that I like hate or anything. It's just I hate my picture. Sometimes I will look at a tattoo and just be like, yeah, that was fun, but I know how I want to curate my social media page. This just doesn't feel like it will be part of it. I have this weird like aesthetic that I am going for. And sometimes though, I do go back. I will look at all these photos I have and I'll be like, oh, I never posted this one. Could be the mood of the day. And now I suddenly want to post it. And it will be like 5 months later and I'm finally posting it. Instagram algorithms kind of also crap. Well, I think that's going to be it. I answered quite a lot. I hope this was informative and the assumptions were really good. I really enjoyed doing this, so maybe again in the future I can do another one. I also have a few smaller advice tips on TikTok, which you can find here, or on my Instagram, which is here. This big, somewhere in there. If you liked it, like, little subscribe, and I'll see you for probably the next vlog.